serverless products at AWS Serverless, and he's joining us live from Seattle, USA. Without further delay, sir, I would pass the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Let me get started right away. I'm not able to share my screen or share anything actually. The share feature is disabled on my end. Is there any way for you to enable it?
Yes, sir. Just a sec.
Okay, thanks.
Uh, yes, sir. We have enabled it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I can see it now. Let me get started. All right, let me know when my screen is visible so we can get going.
It's visible.
It's visible.
Perfect, thank you. All right, let's get started then. So, have you wondered what it takes to build products at the scale and complexity of AWS? If yes, I'll give you a very brief insight into it today through my journey at AWS. My name is Shridhar Pandey. I'm a principal product manager at AWS. Let's get started. All right. Before we go any further, I'd like to state that these are my opinions and observations. Wherever facts and statistics are involved, I've used authoritative AWS sources, but assertions I make here are based on my experiences and do not represent the official AWS position. Now, with that out of the way, let's take a quick look at what we'll cover in today's session. I'll start by telling you a little bit about me, my journey from PICT to AWS, what I do at AWS, and more about AWS serverless space. We'll then look at what does leadership mean in the tech world and what it takes to succeed at AWS based on my experience and observations. And lastly, if time permits, I'll also take some questions from whoever has any questions. All right, then, let's get started. So I came to PICT in 2005, like every starry-eyed 17, 18-year-old kid who walks through these gates for the first time. And saying that the next 4 years were an absolute blast would be an understatement. What you see here are two pictures of my class, one from a regular day while attending a lecture, and the other when everyone was dressed to the nines, or at least that's what we thought we were doing that day. I did a few things during my 4 years at PICT, but my work with our annual magazine Pictorial definitely stands out as one of the highlights. I always look back very fondly at those few months. While I was involved in literally every aspect from finance and marketing to coordinating with the printers, my official title was editor-in-chief. This involved wrangling a lot of students from all years to contribute interesting write-ups, works of art, and so on. The good thing is that PICT never lacked creative energy, so I had a problem of plenty rather than a problem of few. And I also created and introduced Pix or Reel for the very first time. This is the picture exhibition come competition. I started this with a good friend of mine, Rasik, who went on to lead the magazine himself a couple of years later. The fact that Pixel lives on 16, 17 years later makes me super happy and proud. And I also founded a club for programming enthusiasts called Code Gurus with another friend, Piyush. But unfortunately, that is no longer around the last time I checked. You know, you win some, you lose some, but they're all fun nonetheless. Now, at the beginning of the final year, as is the tradition, I got an offer from Amdocs during the campus placement drive, and that's how I landed my first full-time job, paid job. I started with Amdocs in Pune itself, but went on to live in a couple of different places, including St. Louis, Missouri in the US, which is where I met my wife. I have Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia listed there, even though I was there only for a couple of months because of some specific reasons. I first went to KL after I had started working for only about a year. So I was still super early in my career. And that's where I realized that I love traveling and seeing new places and meeting new people. And I love technology, which I already knew, but a little reinforcement never hurts anyone. So the reason I bring this up is that you'll see this reflected in my later career choices. And by the way, fun fact, to this day, Kuala Lumpur, that is KL, is my number one favorite city in the world. And believe me when I say that, because I've been to some, popular cities like Paris, New York, Amsterdam, London, Shanghai, and many more. So I like that place so much that I've recently visited again around New Year's of 2025. Anyways, that out of the way. Um, at Amdocs, I held a couple different roles. I started off as a software engineer. Back in the day, they were called subject matter experts for some reason. On day one, you were a subject matter expert. But anyways, um, I started off as a software engineer, and then after that stint in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, I really kind of got a taste for business facing roles. So I moved into business and product management sort of things. And as part of that, I also moved to St. Louis. So that was my sort of first venture outside of India and my first relocation. There, I worked closely on the order management side of the house. I was part of this unit back in the day. It used to be called Product Business Group, which was essentially their R&D wing, where we used to build products that the account or the customer facing teams would sell to customers and then customize them as needed. And I was with MDOC for a good bit up until September, October 2016. Around that time, I accepted an offer from a company called Netcracker Technology. Um, and as part of that, I moved to Vancouver in Canada. Um, and along the Pacific West Coast. And I took this role for a few different reasons. First of all, I really liked the city of Vancouver, and also because the role itself was super exciting. I was going to be the founding product manager for a network virtualization product. We later on we named it Network as a Service, or NAS, NAAS. And I was there for a little over 4 years, and as part of that, we launched it and we took it to various different market segments and so on. But by the time I closed my stint out there, I had formed a team of five other product managers and some UX designers. So that was my not so short stint at Netcracker. And around this time, towards end of 2020, actually, I got an offer from AWS to interview for a product management role in the AWS Lambda team in the serverless organization. And after going through the rigorous interview process, I ended up getting and I accepted the role. And as part of that, I moved from Canada to Ireland, to Dublin, Ireland, and that's where I had my first taste of AWS. So I was part of the Lambda team within the broader serverless organization. I led a few different areas at the time, including observability, monitoring, and operational tooling, and so on. And I was there for about 2 years. And I eventually ended up moving to Seattle in November 2022, and that's where I am right now. I've been here for a little over 3 years. Another fun fact: I'm closing in on 5 years this month at AWS. So once I moved to Seattle, I took on some additional areas like the broader scope of developer experience, and I'll talk about what that includes or what that entails later on. But that's where I sort of expanded my scope, grew in my role, and I went on to lead, take lead broad initiatives in the AWS serverless organization. But throughout my almost 5 years stint here, I've been with the same organization, and so that has been a great experience. Now, talking about what I do in the serverless organization, my official title is Principal Product Manager, which is equivalent of a PM leader in the serverless developer experience space. That includes a bunch of different things, but broadly speaking, here I've broken it down into a few different areas. So the tools and surface areas or the steps that a developer has to go through in order to, author a Lambda function and sort of create, edit, deploy, and so on. That is one of the first parts of developer experience. So, there are various tools or various interfaces that a developer would come in contact with. So the AWS or the Lambda console, the CLI, different CLIs, various Lambda or other serverless APIs, and then we have our own IAC tools such as AWS SAM, and CloudFormation and so on. Then I continued to lead and own the monitoring, observability, and operational tool space. Think of also all sorts of integrations with services like CloudWatch, X-Ray, Fault Injection Simulator, Secrets Manager, and so on. And then I also lead the integration with third-party tools, and the community that has that I've been able to build over the last 5 years as part of that. So think of vendors like Datadog, New Relic, Dynatrace, Splunk in the monitoring space, Fastly, Contrast Security, and so on in the security space. Then HashiCorp's Vault in the in the secrets management and governance space, Local Stack in developer experience space. So those are some of the integrations I've sort of built and led over the last so many years. The Local Stack is the latest one. We launched it back in September. And lastly, the various sort of open source standards and tools. So open telemetry, cloud events, to name a few, and our own AWS's own open source tools like Finch, which is for local container orchestration, which is equivalent of Docker, if you know about it. So all of this, is to say that I've had a pretty varied career in that I've been able to touch a bunch of surface areas. Some of the highlights include, over 25 key launches in the last 5 years, 10 of them being in 2025 alone. I've also been able to sort of build a pretty strong developer community and open source community around serverless through native support for popular open standards like OpenTelemetry, like I mentioned earlier, and lastly, what I mentioned when I mentioned the likes of Datadog and Splunk and so on. So we officially have 15 plus certified quote unquote tools from popular vendors, leading APM and leading operational tooling vendors like Datadog, New Relic, Splunk, AppDynamics, Local Stack, and so on. I've included a QR code to where you could go read more about these partners. So that out of the way, about me out of the way. Let's now talk about a little bit more about serverless, the kind of scale we operate at, and the community that I alluded to in the previous slide. So the first is that AWS, as you all know, operates at a global level. Our infrastructure is globally distributed. So there are 38 geographic regions spread across every single continent, and that accounts for about 120 availability zones. Each region could have multiple availability zones, which helps us with redundancy and also to load balance and so on. And we've already announced 3 more AWS regions and 10 more availability zones that are coming up in near future. So all of this is to say that, Lambda and serverless services, Lambda is one of the critical, compute services, and therefore it is available in all the regions where AWS infrastructure is available. So talking about the scale, continuing the theme of the scale we operate at, just to give you an idea, the amount of requests or transactions or invocations, call it what you will, that we handle every month is in the trillions, actually tens of trillions. We're not talking about millions or billions. You're talking about trillions with a T, and these are spread across more than 1.5 million active customers. So that's the kind of scale we are talking at, which is highly distributed, highly large scale elastic service in Lambda, which forms the core of most serverless applications. Lambda being the compute engine that drives these serverless applications. And in terms of who are the customers that use serverless, they are pretty much everywhere in every industry. Everyone from startups, enterprises, governments, and then everything in between. Serverless is transforming how all of these organizations and customers build software these days. And a lot of this has been possible due to the great support from the community. So what I mean by that is there are a few different uh, parts or areas of or pillars of the serverless community that we've been able to foster. So the first is the group of builders. There are a few different specializations among these builders. So, for example, we have the heroes who are AWS experts whose enthusiasm for knowledge sharing has a real impact within the community. They go above and beyond to share knowledge in a variety of ways, social media, blog posts, projects, I mean, open source projects, videos, and they also participate in conferences in person or through various workshops and user group events. The next is community builders. These are also cloud enthusiasts. They are super passionate to grow, learn, and expand the AWS community. And then there is the AWS user groups. These are community-led groups where builders meet to discuss the latest in the AWS cloud space. They learn new skills from like-minded peers and network with builders in their local community. There are about 590 plus AWS user groups around the world with meetups happening in person or virtually throughout the year. And the last category is the AWS Cloud Clubs, like the one you all are member of and host, the AWS Cloud Club PICT. These are student-led user groups for post-secondary level students and independent learners, led by the Cloud Club captains. And these are open to anyone that is 18 and older. Then there are various partners, third-party partners. I talked about some of these earlier, the independent ISVs or independent software vendors, the likes of Datadog, LocalStack, New Relic, Palo Alto, and so on. These are folks who build and provide their own solutions that work with serverless services and helps customer build their solutions, build, manage, operate, and so on. And then there are consulting partners. These are partners who don't offer their own software per se, but they help customers implement AWS and serverless solutions. They bring the expertise and so on. And the third category is the open source community, which is probably the most well understood. So this includes, communities that are built around industry open standards. That is, for example, the open telemetry community for monitoring and observability, cloud events for event-driven architectures, local language runtime communities, for example, Java, Node, Python, and Go, Rust, and so on. And then there are communities built around AWS open source tools as well, like AWS SAM, AWS SAM CLI, AWS CDK, Finch, and so on. Now, let's change gears and talk about leadership. We are specifically talking about leadership in the tech world here. So, leadership in the tech world combines traditional leadership qualities or principles with unique elements which are specific to tech business environments. Let's look at what that actually means. As I see, there are four pillars of tech leadership. Vision and strategy. This deals with the ability to anticipate technological trends and position teams and products accordingly. It requires balancing innovation with practical implementation and business needs, and creating roadmaps the tech capabilities that align tech capabilities with customer needs and market opportunities. The next one is innovation culture. This requires creating environments where calculated risks and experimentation is encouraged. This also means, balancing innovation with operational excellence and reliability so that you're not, the pendulum does not swing too far in one direction. Excuse me. And lastly, it also means promoting continuous learning and adaptation to rapidly changing technological space and environment. Adaptability is essentially comfort with ambiguity and rapid changes. This means a leader should be willing to pivot strategies based on new information rather than being so stuck to their own ways that they cannot see and process and accept or pivot according to new information. All of that is to say that it espouses a continuous learning mindset. Now, and the last one is, and this may not be applicable, for folks early on in their career, or even later if you're not into people management, but and actually, it there is also this idea of influencing without authority. So yeah, this does apply, but not as much as if you were a direct people, a people manager. So people development entails building high performance technical teams through mentorship and growth opportunities, and fostering the psychological safety that encourages experimentation and learning. And it requires the leader to be adept at engaging with both technical and non technical stakeholders. So, having seen what are the key pillars of leadership in the world of technology, let's look at what we call Amazon's leadership principles. So at AWS and more broadly at Amazon, we use these leadership principles every day, whether we are discussing ideas for building new products or deciding on the best way to solve a problem. As you'll see, these principles emerge from the four pillars I described earlier. They just go deeper and are more specific and target each specific area. And they are built to sort of have tension with one another. And that's where, things like judgment and things like discussion comes in. So if you want, you can scan the QR code to read more about these leadership principles in a lot more detail. In the next few slides, I have picked the three that are most crucial, in my opinion, for someone starting out at AWS or someone striving to start at AWS. Now, note that these leadership principles, with some exceptions, would apply in any tech company you go work for, and may come in handy if you decide to start your own as well. So these are, while they are Amazon's leadership principles, but they are very broad and they apply in a whole bunch of scenarios, and they're written, in my view, they're written really, really well in a way that they are applicable across roles, which is why you would not see them be specific for, a software engineer role versus a product manager role versus a solution architect role. These are meant to apply broadly. And that is something I've tried to gear my presentation toward as well, instead of focusing on one role. Although my expertise lies in product management, but I still believe that I'm an engineer at heart. But my my ideas, opinions expressed here apply broadly to any role you would take on at AWS, or broadly even in the industry. So the first one is customer obsession. This is the absolute bedrock of working at Amazon or AWS. So I have, and I can say that this with a great deal of confidence. There are only a handful of companies who, in my view, espouse true customer obsession. I'm not going to name names, but one of them is a famous credit card provider in the US. Um, and Amazon is one of the other ones. And I felt this way even before I joined AWS, before I knew anything about AWS, when I was just an Amazon.com customer. So what customer obsession means is, um, we work towards understanding our customers very, very hard. We work on we like the first sentence says, leaders start with the customer and work backwards. And although leaders are supposed to pay attention to competitors, they just do that, pay attention to competitors, but they truly obsess over customers. They want to know everything they need to know about the customer, the persona, what are their pain points, what are they doing with my product, how can I make their life better, how would they be able to achieve their goals easier, better, faster, whatever the case may be. They understand the deep the inherent motivations of the customer. Why is the customer using this product? Is this product even the right fit for the customer? If not, I'll be the first one to go tell that customer that, hey, this is not the right thing for you, go use something else. For example, serverless may not be the best fit for you, go use containers, just as an example. So that's the level of customer obsession we're talking about. And this is, if you are to be successful at AWS, and and all, and this is one of the key bedrock principles, like I said, of leadership at Amazon, at AWS, and in my view it should be across every single company, but definitely a non-negotiable at leadership quality at AWS. The next is called invent and simplify. As you would expect for a company like Amazon that has continuously grown over the last 30 plus years and has expanded itself into so many different new spaces and continues to do so, the bar for invention or innovation is very, very high. And innovation means simplifying the way you do something. That simplification could be by reducing the number of steps. That simplification could be by reducing the customer's cognitive load. Um, this could come from making it to where the customer does not even have to think about the underlying technology. So that innovation can happen in so many different ways, and leaders expect and require, like it says, innovation from their teams. And there is no such thing as not invented here. If we have a problem, we will go find a solution. I often find myself in discussions where I would tell a principal engineer, for example, or an engineering manager or SDM, I would say, this is the customer problem, and here is my proposed solution. How you build that is not my problem. And by that, I don't mean I don't care about it. By that, I mean that we are not going to let that be a factor in the discussion of the right solution. The right solution matters. The best, the optimal solution matters. We believe that we can solve almost any problem. So, and as part of that, we accept the idea of being misunderstood for long periods of time, meaning social coherence is not something that we place above all else. So if we believe in a decision, if we believe in a direction, we are willing to pursue that for a really, really long period of time. The long-term thinking truly comes out here at Amazon and at AWS. And the last one is bias for action. Not every decision needs to be pondered over for days and weeks and months. Now, which is why there is this concept that we practice very, very rigorously at Amazon. It's called one-way door and two-way door decision. So the idea is that if a decision is reversible with little to no impact, then we do not need to spend our valuable time and our team's valuable time doing extensive study and research and deep dives into. That is calculated risk taking. So if a decision is a two-way door decision, it could be easily reversed with little to no impact in future. Let's go right ahead with it, because speed matters. Because if we do the same level of rigor, perform the same level of rigor for every single decision, it'll slow everyone down, and that is not an outcome we're looking for. So therefore, there is always this push to, can we get this out faster? Can we get this done sooner? Because because that's how we find out. You put something out in the market, you put something out in front of the customers, and that's where you learn. So that's what bias for action espouses. Now, having talked about leadership principles, let's talk about critical areas or critical skills, for lack of a better term, that will help you thrive in the AWS environment at AWS across roles, across organizations, across team boundaries. Uh, while I could list a whole bunch of them, in my view, three are super critical. One is driving clarity. Second, developing depth in your area of expertise. And third is mastering clear communication. These skills, practices, principles, call it what you will, are fundamental to how we operate and deliver results for our customers. So let's take a look at them one by one. Clarity being the first one. What does it mean? Clarity means removing ambiguity. Um, Ambiguity could be in any form. Ambiguity could be in the form of understanding what the customers are struggling with, what the customers need. It could be, so that is the problem or the challenge. It could be in understanding the solution, what is the solution, or what is the cost of not doing anything. So there are ambiguity surfaces in many different ways, and in any role, obviously the abstraction will differ, obviously the action and the output will differ, but the goal for the key criteria for success is someone who removes or eliminates or reduces ambiguity. They take a very hard thing. By thing, I mean it could be a problem, it could be a solution, it could be a proposal, and make it simple and make it easy to understand. And by simple, it does not necessarily only mean simplifying it in the way you communicate. By simplifying, it means you cut out the fluff. You figure out what's the core, the crux of the decision. Um, the second piece, and I kind of touched upon it earlier, but having a strong why, being able to explain that strong why. What does that mean? It means mapping your actions, your proposals to customer value. Will it solve a customer problem? Will it make customers' lives easier? Will it make it easier for customer to make a certain decision? And underpinning all of this is data. Amazon and AWS are very, very data-centric organizations. You always have to have data for any suggestions, recommendations, proposals you're putting forth. And these should be the goals that you are aspiring to achieve. These should be measurable, because if you can't measure something, you can't improve it, period. So that's what clarity means in a nutshell. Depth. Now, this almost goes without saying, but it is definitely worth reiterating and also kind of clarifying what I mean here by depth. Obviously, you should be an expert of your domain. That just goes without saying. But being an expert does not only mean knowing every single, exhaustively knowing every single high level concept or concept at high level. It means knowing the details, knowing what is the inherent motivation for something or some API, for example, or some product working the way it works. Why does it not work another way? What are some of the decisions that were taken that got us here? And so on. So you should be able to explore every single aspect of it, the good, the bad, the decisions, and should be able to sort of paint a complete picture. That is what deep expertise in your domain means. And this again ties back to customer obsession. You must have deep understanding of the customer. This includes personas. What is the customer trying to achieve? Is the customer a developer? Are they an operator? Are they a platform administrator? Are they a decision maker like a CTO? What are they? Because every single persona is motivated by a different thing. What are their pain points, current pain points? What do they need versus they want? You need to be able to distinguish between need versus want, because otherwise you will not be able to you know um, prioritize the right things to build. And oftentimes, wants, the list of wants is much longer than the needs. So having that distinction, again, all of this comes from very, very deep understanding of the customer. And then there's the question of judgment and also bias for action, knowing when and how to balance depth and breadth. Not everything. Sometimes, when you're in early stages, you might optimize for breadth versus depth, before you decide that there are certain areas where you need to build depth. And this is essentially a way to, leverage your skills, your experience for maximum impact. But this comes with practice, or this comes with experience. But the first two are definitely things you should be focusing on day one. If you start, at AWS, or you want to get there, you'd face these kind of scenarios even during interview process, for that matter. And the last one is, and I purposely put it all the way at the end because this is another sort of bedrock of, and especially if you end up in a PM role, a product manager role at AWS. So communication is key, regardless of what role you are in. But if you're in a PM role, it just gets amplified by a factor of 100. Amazon has a very, very heavy writing culture. We deal with structured multi-page narratives, not slide decks. So slide decks or PowerPoint presentations are not my strong suite anymore. Um, and but the writing culture, it helps you think, it helps you bring clarity. And I don't know if you've seen, but look it up. There are so many interviews and anecdotes where we start our meetings by sitting down quietly and reading for sometimes 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how long the narrative is or how long the document is. It could be a 4-pager, it could be a 2-pager, it could be a 6-pager, and then people discuss. So slide decks are internally, slide decks or PowerPoint presentations are absolutely not allowed as a matter of practice. That means writing becomes, and again, I want to emphasize here, writing is not about using fancy vocabulary, fancy language, and flowery adjectives. Writing is about clarity. Going back to my first point, you and that is where I love this quote: say what you mean and mean what you say. If you mean no, say no, not maybe. That is just one example. It's a very, very straightforward and obvious one, but what what does clear writing mean, or clear communication mean in general? It means eliminating fluff and focusing on the key aspects of what matters. You keep cutting until you can't cut no more is essentially the idea of clear communication. So in order to do that, you must understand the premise, the question, the topic very, very well, and that's where active listening comes in. And you are encouraged to be very concise when you're responding, either in a verbal communication in a meeting, or over an email, or in a written document. And obviously, it goes without saying, one size fits all is not how it goes. You have to tailor your message to the audiences. Who are you trying to address? A finance person would not care so much about why an API is structured the way it is. And lastly, always use data if you have it available. If not, explain why you don't have it available, or substitute it with strong anecdotes, because that will help you drive decision. And that was the third and the last key principle to that underpins success at AWS. And with that, thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I've included a QR code to my LinkedIn page in case you want to reach out or follow me. Feel free to. And I don't know if we have time for any questions, but if we do, I'm happy to take any questions.
Hi, Shridhar.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see you on this side, and I'm really so glad to see you like this. Guiding our students, as you know, it was really excellent sessions, and I'm truly grateful for the time and efforts you put into this. Sharing your all experience with your students, and thank you so much for taking time in this your busy schedule.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy to be of any help. I will always cherish my 4 years at PICT. Those were some of the best days of best years of growing up and my educational career.
Yes, definitely. As Shadis, we have the AWS Club, say, Cloud Club sessions at the PICT. So we'll be very grateful if you guide our students, our club members, which are very enthusiastic and eager to learn. And we need such a proper mentoring from the people like you who are already working in this. So yes, definitely I'll request you to please guide our club members with your real world expertise.
For sure, yeah, I'm happy to help in any way I can, and we can connect offline as well to figure out how I can bring any value possible.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I hope this is just a beginning, and we are looking for many more, no, insightful sessions from your side.
For sure, yeah, yeah. And I pointed to some useful content already.
Yes,
But if there is more, if there are questions, I can share more.
yes, definitely. And now, my students, you feel free to ask if you have any questions. Okay, Mayur, show to you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Shridhar. See you soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rohan has posted
I see his question actually. So, um, I think Rohan, the first place that I would start with is, looking at the Amazon jobs site, and there are a bunch of resources there as well on what you would want, you'd want to match a role first, and then you can go about preparing from there. There are a bunch of resources that are linked for there, but even if they're not, just a simple Google search for the role and requirements or how to prepare would give you a ton of resources. But oftentimes, the recruiters that you connect with will also they're generally super helpful in sharing resources, because the goal of people interviewing a candidate is not to reject them. The goal is to make them successful, because with every interview there is a lot of time and money being invested, right? So our goal and the recruiter's goal is to see people succeed, so they will provide you all the resources they would that would be helpful to you. And in terms of I would start with some hands-on experience. There are a bunch of certifications, or you don't even have to take the certification. You can just start building things on your own, especially now with a lot of vibe coding tools. So it's probably the barrier to learn has been significantly lowered. So you could start with that, but definitely try some hands-on, because that puts you ahead of the pack, because a lot of people have never done that. So you having familiarity will always make you stand out. Any other question?
I can see some questions in the chat. Akash is saying he wants some guidance for shifting to abroad after the education, right? So any tips for that?
Yeah, so depends. I mean, there are a bunch of different ways. The most well established one would be, masters, whether it is MS or MBA or whatever is the local equivalent in that country. A lot of people in my batch did that. I did not. I went through my employer, but that is one that is not fully in your control. But the master's route is generally in your control. So that's one of the, I wouldn't say easiest. Nothing is easy as such, but it is one of the most established. So if you think about it, there's a syllabus for it versus what I did is not a very established established way. Um, I'm actually looking at the questions now. So from a long-term perspective, the career of solution architect and product manager, those are two different roles. One or other, one is not better in than the other. It depends. If you want to be a practitioner, meaning if you want to continuously build things using the services that you work on, then solutions architect role is for you. But if you're not a practitioner, if you are more of a, how do you put it? If you're more of an abstract builder, then product management is for you. Growth, influence, leadership, you can achieve similar levels with both of them depending on what you're doing. So level wise, even at Amazon and AWS, level wise, they both have similar types of leveling. So there's not much of a difference. I would rather pick the path that aligns more with your interest, because as a solution architect, you would get to be hands-on more than a PM would throughout your career. So, but both roles you would be equally exposed to the customer. The interactions would be different, but you'd equally be exposed to the customer. Um, any important project you can recommend? Project wise, go look at the workshop. There's a bunch of on the AWS website, or even on the Lambda webpage. You would see there are a bunch of workshops linked. Try some of those. Those are free. The workshops are free. Or even if you can just find it, just Google AWS Serverless workshop, or go to serverlessland.com. All of these places have some really good detailed projects that you can start. You don't need to pay anything to start the project. Obviously, you would need an account, AWS account, but that's all you need. You don't need any licensing or certification, so to speak. All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hello. Yeah. Sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you, sir, but actually we are getting some short of time, so I would like just read aloud some important question, I guess, so you can answer it. Will
Okay.
it work?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I can see one question: how important cloud certifications are compared to hands-on project? So would be great if you
Yeah.
guide some.
I honestly, and this is my personal opinion, don't take it this as a gospel. Um, so I think hands-on experience wins every day, any day of the week over cloud certification. So what I mean by that is you will be found out. So cloud certification is easier to get than becoming an expert. Just because you have a certification does not mean that you are an expert. So, and people interviewing you for roles will find out very soon whether you are an expert or not, regardless of how many certifications you have. Sure, those certifications are a checkbox. In some cases they'll help you cross a hurdle or two, but if I had to pick one or the other, I would ideally not have to pick. Like, if you're going to do certification, make sure to build depth in it. But if you're going to pick one or the other route, I would always go with hands-on experience. All right. What's next?
Yeah, I can see one question from Manvendra. That's as you emphasize on the sentence that saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Does that also imply that soft skills or good communication skills in general can create a lot of difference in person's professional journey? Is that so?
Yes. And by soft skills, let me be very clear. Soft skills does not always mean how good your English is, right? Let's be clear on that. It's not about how many GRE words can you throw in one sentence. It absolutely, in fact, that is a recipe for disaster. Um, if you are saying things that 90% of the people can't understand, all of that goes out the window, right? So soft skills or communication skills are essential in that you should be a clear communicator. You could be you don't have to have great command over the language, but you must be clear. Like what you're saying should be easy to follow, easy to understand versus, talking in riddles and always stating. There's a concept in reporting journalism called burying the lead. Look it up. What it means is state the most important thing first before going into details. For example, if someone asks you a yes or no question, the answer should always start with a yes or a no rather than a whole bunch of hypotheses around a bunch of different things before getting to a yes or no. So that's what I mean by clearly communicating. It does not so do not confuse clear communication with a great command over a language.
I hope this would have helped Manvendra. And the last question, I guess, last question for this segment, that would be what are the prerequisites required before integrating our AWS services into any personal projects? So, is there anything specific we need to learn before integrating it?
Not really, no. I mean, you just need to know the basics of the service, and you can find all of that in the documentation and a little bit of, search engine or any of these AI LLMs. So you don't need any prerequisites. pretty much everything lives in the cloud. If you're building locally, then you just need to install the tools, the CLI, or or the ID, whatever you need, whatever you're building on. But other than that, there's no prerequisite. Just understanding the service a little bit would be super helpful.
Yeah, perfect. I guess I know, guys, you have a lot of questions and you guys are flooding lots in the chats, but as well running late out of the time. So I hope Shridhar, you can connect with Shridhar sir on the LinkedIn and you can ask your doubts there. And I hope this would definitely help you. Also, I would like to thank Shridhar sir for joining and giving such insightful session. It was really great to have you directly from Seattle. Also, I would like to ask other captains like they are there. So we would like to continue to the next segment. Thank you so much, sir, again for your valuable time and support. And over to you, Ashwati.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and happy to talk to you all. All right. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we are going to move on to the next segment. That is, we have three mini sessions arranged. So, to build on to the learning, we move on to our discussion that is going to connect student leadership opportunity through AWS Cloud Club and the Cloud Captain program. So, we are joined today by three Cloud Captains who have successfully translated their learning into leadership. First, we have Sujit from IIT Madras. He is the AWS Cloud Captain, and we have Lean. She's a Cloud Captain from Palestine, and of course, we have our PICT's Cloud Captain Mayuresh. So I would like to give the stage to Sujit. So, Sujit, are you there?
Hello, I'm audible, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, you're audible. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. You can start.
Okay. Okay. I'll just share my screen. My screen's visible, right? Hello. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay. Okay. So, hello everyone. Myself Sujit. I'm a third year undergraduate student at IIT Madras and leading the AWS Cloud Club from last February. So I'm basically from Maharashtra itself. I'm from Shirdi. So I'll give a crisp walkthrough how to become a AWS Cloud Captain and what are the important stages are there in the application. So this will be a short 10-minute slide. So yeah. So first thing I'll get tell about what is actually a AWS Cloud Club mean. So this is actually the ordinary club you can say there in your college which are affiliated by AWS. So AWS will give the affiliation to your club, so you can be the AWS Cloud Club. So these are the kind of a community that are led by student it that are independent. So when let's say people who are excited about to learn about cloud and that all, so they make this cloud club actually. So what are the core activity we took? We took the meetup, we took some hackathons, we took community event, we took guidance sessions like the today's sessions is there. We are working on some collaborative project as well. So we used to share the articles and content also. Like I used to read the PICT's newsletter articles that are really good. So like this our activity we took in the AWS Cloud Club. So I'll go for the next. So if you want to become a AWS Cloud Club captain, there are the three cycles are there. In first is there in the Feb, second is there in the April, and third is there in the September. So Feb and April is for the people who have already Cloud Club in their university or colleges. So let's say me and Mayur, who are leading Cloud Club from last year. So we have already established club in our college. So people who are want to apply for as a new Cloud Club. So they have September type timeline for that. So Feb and April, what will happen? Like AWS team will ask us like current Cloud Captain to give successor for the next timeline. So we have to suggest one successor for them to lead the Cloud Captain from next year onward. And in the September, you want to apply for the fresh, like you want to open this Cloud Club freshly from your college itself. So, but the one thing is common is like your application process has like same. You have to write the same essay. You have to make the same video, and you needed the same affiliation letter from your college. So these things are there, and these three timelines and two options are there. So, what are the eligibility? Like this eligibility are like from the last year. This year can be the change, but mostly same they used to follow. So your graduation must be completing after October 2027. You are a less 6 month active student from your college, and it's actually open to all. Like it not what we can say limited to just the engineering student. It is open to all. You can be the BCA student. You can be a BSc student. It open to all actually. So and open to any region, all country it's open. But the thing is like the AWS team want the leadership potential in you. They didn't want a perfect student in the tech on a leadership, but you have to be a learning. You have to be a person who are have ability to learn, to we can say a lead the club, lead the event. So that thing is required from AWS team. So there are the three pillars I'll say for the application: written, faculty support, and the video application. So written applications are like more for like 3 or 4 questions will be there. So you want to talk about what events you took previously, how you will run the club, and what technical knowledge you have. And the faculty support, you need one faculty mentor and one affiliation letter from your university to the AWS team, and the video application, that is the most important thing I'll say. So we'll go one by one how this works. So written applications are like I'll say like 3 to 4 questions will be there. Like when I applied, there are 3 questions. First was like what are my previous experience to conduct the event. So from first year itself, I was the active in community. Like I was active to I was there to go for the events like in the city meetups are there, right? GDZ, Azure, and AWS meetups are there. So I used to go for that meetups. Through that, I become the core member for GDZ Cloud community in Chennai itself. So that we can say experience we have to write in the ACE thing. So one extra thing I have done for the written application, I used to add the links. So I used to put on LinkedIn like I went this event, I took this meetup, I was the part of this conference. So I used to add this experience. So you can add that link in your application itself. That will be beneficial for the first question. Second question for me was like, what is my experience in the cloud? Not exactly in AWS they needed, because I was earlier Azure certified, so I did that experience. AWS, I have experience in the project work as I work in 2 3 startup in IIT, but I didn't have the certification. So I added that experience. So that second question is needed. And third was like how you can take this club further. If you're applying as a first time, they'll ask like the same question. And if you're applying as like successor one, they'll ask you like how you can take your club from that stage to upper level. So what events you can do, what hackathons or like what technical events you can do that. So you want to add that thing in a written application. So one tip I given like to add links, and second tip I'll give like don't use AI actually. So you have to write this application is like same way you're writing in your school, right? AC thing. So you can write in that way. Later you can use AI for correcting grammar and that all, but don't use AI at start. AWS want this thing authentication, like they want they are emphasis on writing like in last also Sridhar sir told like AWS team is more toward writing. They have writing culture. So more focus on this thing, like don't use AI in your written application at least. Second is faculty support. So you need one faculty mentor and one affiliation letter that provided by AWS team. You need stamp and that all support from your college side with the faculty mentor. So this is about the faculty support. I'll go for the third video application. So video application is like a presentation, 3 to 5 minute presentation you'll require to take on any AWS concept. Like in my time, I took for the SageMaker AI. You can take anything, EC2, Lambda, and that all. You didn't want to give a detailed technical demonstration. You just need a simple, I'll say, how you can teach anyone who are beginner to that concept, how you can teach them that concept, like that thing you'll need in AWS video thing. So video has to be really good in kind of production way, I'll say, be focused on the video and as well as the application part. So yeah, this is about the video written and the faculty support. So three strategy that I follow and I got into the AWS Cloud Captain role. So first was the stay human mode, like don't use GPT. emphasis on your authentication things. Second is production. Your video has to be really good, your sound quality, your presentation, your PPT has to be really nice. So that thing will most important in the production. Third thing is like proactiveness, like don't go for the end date of the application. So when I got the referral from my old captain, I actually filled the form on the last day. So don't do that mistake, I'll say. Submit it before deadline. So this three strategy, I'll say, you can follow when you're applying for the cloud captain. So yeah, that is about my. So you can ask me the question, and you can connect me on LinkedIn and X. I'm very active on the LinkedIn and X. So thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sujit, for your words and your inspiration. Now, I would like to pass on the stage to Lean. Lean, you're not audible.
Yeah. Hi,
You can speak.
everyone. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello. I hope you're doing very well today. I want to talk about leadership, but not the ones that we learn from books, just from my own experience building my AWS Cloud Club, especially for anyone who is starting a team or already has one and feels the pressure of leading it. First of all, let me tell you who am I. I'm Lynn Derarme, a Palestinian computer engineering student and the captain of AWS Cloud Club at Birzeit University, which is also located in Palestine. Everything I'll share today is based on what I actually did, what failed, and what worked. I think that this slide summarizes the biggest lesson you will learn in this journey, which is leadership is not about doing everything yourself. It's about building people who can do things even when you're not there. So when I stopped trying to control everything, I felt like my club started growing much faster. Okay, so when I became a captain, I didn't start by recruiting people. First of all, I suggest you to start with a core team. Who are the core teams? The core team is consists of 5 members you pick, and I suggest that you pick people that you have already worked with before. People like my experience, I chose people I trusted and I know that they actually can carry responsibility, not just take a title. So I chose my PR head, marketing head, and co-captain and our mentor. This step will save you a lot from so many problems you're gonna face later. So, okay, the second step was so you chose your core team, which you can put them as heads or you can put them as normal members. But with my experience, I put them as heads. The second step was creating awareness. So before choosing the team, the big team, let's say, most students in my university did not even know what AWS was. Some of them literally thought it was spelled as aus. So first, we needed to focus on awareness. We posted reels on Instagram, Facebook, and university groups. And believe me, these posts will change everything. Um, if it's the first time you have an AWS Cloud Club in your university, students will get excited about new initiatives. And once they recognize the club and know it's from Global AWS, this interest will grow very fast. And like a student will get interested, he'll tell her friend, and they will continue like that. And at the end, you're gonna have many applicants that wait to join your team. Okay, and the next step was you're gonna choose your team right now. So you will open registration. I'm gonna share you the form that we created so people can apply to be as applicants. I believe that this form, we had 130 students who applied. So we structured the club into three societies: educational, PR, and marketing. To be honest, I didn't have much time for interviews, but if you do, I recommend it. So we used the strong filtering, especially with the educational team. And I shared the form with you so you can filter students. The form is not random. I designed the questions on purpose to reveal who is actually interested and who's ready to commit. And the second thing is you need to avoid uh, the single point of failure. How? Don't build a club that depends on you alone. You can't manage 20 to 30 members by yourself. Each of them will have something to suggest, something to ask about, or even problems of figuring things out. And believe me, you alone can't figure all of this by your own. So my advice for you is to put a head for each society or for each category. Maybe you're gonna have voluntary work. You're gonna have, of course, PR and marketing and technical. Whatever categories you have, I really advise you to put heads for them. You're gonna make it easy for yourself, and you're gonna avoid burnout. Okay, and the thing that I want to talk about is leadership through friendship. Uh, One thing that helped me that our team uh, is a leadership, but at the same time, you're gonna need to make sure that the credit goes to the members, not to yourself or only the heads. Because, like, okay, the PR head will arrange and will give roles for each member they have, but at the end of the day, the one that really worked and gave time are the members themselves. So you need to give credit to them. It's never well done by me, it's always well done by us. This builds loyalty and real commitment. And at the end, you're gonna observe results. This impact of the structure, for example, our PR head and the team already had experience in communication. And because of that, we secured 8 sponsors for our first event. If anyone wants the proposal that we sent to the companies, you can contact me on LinkedIn and I can share it with you. This gonna easy things on you. And this like having 8 sponsors on our first event, this changed the scale of the event a lot. And for marketing, when we put the form, we asked for the previous work from the beginning. So you can see the results and the quality of videos that the applicants make. And you're going to pick the most creative ones, the experienced ones, and you're going to see the results. For example, I'm also going to share this. You, you absolutely can take any ideas from the reel. Okay, let's go to it. I'm sharing them on chat. Okay. And for the educational team, have a mentor because he's going to help a lot, he or she, of course. But have a mentor with real experience in the field. So for our educational team or tech team, um, don't just put them to organize events. They need to actually learn what cloud is and how cloud works. They try as much as you can to let them earn badges and build real skills. That's what's gonna make your own AWS Cloud Club, like for your university, different from other clubs and different from the clubs that you have already in your university. Because let's be honest, we have a lot of clubs in our universities, but not all of them give a real lectures and hands-on experience for their members. So there is the thing that will make you unique. And members don't just volunteer, so they need to grow. So your mentor can be you or someone from your team who has good experience of AWS or someone who works using AWS. What matters is learning, make learning real. And this is maybe the final thing I'm gonna talk about. When you look at your core team, you're not gonna see members, you're gonna see leaders. Each one of them can run events, lead teams, and mentor others, even if you're not there. So work on that. That's when you know that you built something real. And if you need any help, I'm totally ready to help you. You can scan my QR code for LinkedIn. And if you need any inspiration or uh, forms that we shared or proposals or whatever you want, you can contact us on our Instagram page. And of course, we're going to be there for you. And I wish you all the best. Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy that I participated in this session.
Thank you so much, Lean. You gave us a very practical insight on what it's like to be a cloud captain and what are the requirements.
Thank
Now,
you.
I would like to pass on the stage to Mayuresh, our own college PICT's cloud captain.
Hello guys. Firstly, I would like to thank all Sujit and Lean for their wonderful insights. Like they covered a lot of points. So I will just quickly wrap up my sessions. Not gonna take too much time. So I'll share my screen first. Just a minute. I hope it's visible. Yes, Ashwati?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So I'll just share a few tips and few uh, insights from my application that I have submitted to the AWS while submitting my application for captainship. So basically, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. So I'm Mahesh Muruk from AWS Cloud Club PICT, the captain of the club, and currently pursuing third year engineering from the IT department. And yeah, it's all. It's all. So yeah, we can just quickly go through my application. The main thing I would like to share, as also described by Sujit, that keep your application or answers really humanized. Like write it by yourself. I'll suggest. Don't copy from GPTs. This tip gonna help you a lot while getting selected. And the second thing, the most important thing that I observed was to structure your answer. So this is just an example. You can see the question, but how I have written the application answer. So I have written first part, then after it's a part, that's a point A, then after point B, and again the subpart of point A. So you can see the answer is very much structured. So this will help the Tracy, Nayang, Lisa, whoever is gonna review your application, the global leads of the AWS Cloud Club program. So this is gonna help them to review through application clearly and neatly, so they will not miss any point, any important point. So this is what the core tip from my side. Just structure your answer very well. Also share some proofs, share some photos of whatever you have done, whatever you have achieved. So this is going to help you a lot for getting selected. This was the very core tip for the application. And yeah, so now the second thing, as we're assuming that you're gonna apply for being a cloud captain, and if your university don't have cloud club yet, so what you can do, the very first thing you should do is to create the awareness. As explained by Lean also, the very first thing would be to create the awareness about the AWS. Students from your university should know what AWS stands for, what it is. So how we're gonna do that? So don't worry, like as a club, as we are taking this hosting this session to help you guys to open your clubs in your university. So we're gonna also take care about that. So you can see the global community of AWS. This is what the global community is, where it's divided into two parts, we can say. One is AWS user groups. These are the user groups are the communities which are led by working professionals. It is for working professional. Then it comes the AWS Cloud Clubs. These are for the students, for students who are undergraduate like us. So what you can do to create the awareness among the people in your university, you can just, okay, you can't see the slides. Hello, Ashwati, is it visible?
It's visible. It's visible.
Okay, then. I guess, Kristen, you can check the connectivity issues from your side. Yeah. So, what I was saying, if you want to create the awareness among the people from your university, you can just engage them with the activities conducted by these two communities. So, okay, I'll reshare it. I'll reshare it. I guess there might be some technical issues. I hope
Mahitesh,
it's
you can share
visible.
the PPT on chat too in case it's not visible for them.
Yeah, sure. Uh, I guess now it's visible. Uh, if it
It's
is,
visible for
let me
me,
know.
but when someone confirm on
Yeah,
chat.
yeah. Okay, then I'll just share it. Just a minute. Yeah, clear. So get back to the session. So I was talking about just engage your audience with the activities conducted by these two communities, user groups as well as cloud clubs. So as a club, what we are gonna do, we are gonna take one program or one initiative known as Cloud Learners Program. The PICTians might know about this. So this was the whole initiative to help students to start their journey in field of AWS. What we did, we just started with the very core, very scratch, very basic of the AWS, and we taught them every week
Sorry
once
to
a week.
interrupt, Manuresh.
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot see the slides. Anybody can confirm, please?
It's not visible.
Yeah, there is no slides.
Okay, okay. Just a minute.
If you're facing any problem, you can send them to me on WhatsApp and I can share them.
Yeah, it works, Lynn. Then I'll share you with the WhatsApp. Same slides.
Okay, yeah.
Till then, I'll continue just what I was talking. You can engage your audience with the activities conducted by the AWS user groups, or it may be AWS Cloud Clubs nearby your city. So this will create the initial awareness among the students, which will eventually boost your audience whenever you will open the club. Okay, so we can move to the next slide.
Yeah. The next one or this one?
Yeah, this one. So this one I was talking about. So we are gonna start this initiative to help the students to know about the AWS. So you can also share this links. We'll provide the links in WhatsApp channel only. So we'll take the meeting. You can share this with your audience. So just make them AWS aware, we can say, cloud aware. So yeah, we can move on to the next slides. This was the main thing. And if you follow the tips from the Sujit, Lean, and all the captains, then eventually you will create one family, not just a club, not just a team. You'll create a family. And the main thing, again, I would like to share, if you're hosting some events, then celebrate it. If you're achieving something, then celebrate it. This is in the slides you can see we have celebrated a lot of things. Each after each event, we just celebrate the thing that whatever we have achieved till then. So this will create the bonding within your team, which will eventually gonna lead you. So this will help you to make them as a leaders, as told by the lean that your responsibility is to make or teach them how to be a good leader. That's what you can do. We can move to the next slide. This is some glimpses how we just celebrate the achievements. And in the last, I would just like to say, yeah, all the best. We can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to say just all the best to all the captains who are gonna apply in this court or next court. And now I would like to welcome. There is one surprise for you. Yeah, we have few captains apart from Sujit and Lean joined with us. Uh, Dhyana and Manvendra, we have them. Also, I would like to know if there are any other people, any other captains present apart from Manvendra and Dhyana. Yeah, okay. So, Dhyana, I would like to hand over to you. Before that, just a small introduction about you. So, she is the one who have received the Cloud Captain of the Year award recently in the reInvent session in the Las Vegas. And Manvendra is the AWS Cloud Captain from Jaipur. So, I would like to hand over to them the stage, and you guys can share the insights from you, whatever we have missed, whatever you want to talk about for our students. Yeah, over to you, Dhyana and Manvendra.
Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Yeah,
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, thank you, Mayuresh, for the warm welcome. And it was so nice listening to all of you. Mayuresh, Lee, and Sujit, you guys were really amazing on guiding all the students to their upcoming cloud captain journey. So, it was really nice to hear from you that you guided them with the path that they have to follow and how they are supposed to be welcoming their team and act as a family. So the family thing is what impressed me the most. So something that you guys didn't talk about that I'll be talking about today is the perks for you as a captain. So that is very important because while you are in a leadership role, I strongly believe that you should be in a position where you help your cloud club to grow as well as you grow personally. So I'll be sharing about my personal journey where I had the opportunity to attend AWS reInvent in Las Vegas, USA. So that was surreal experience for me. Why? Because I applied for it, and after 2 months of review, I got the grant to attend. So it was fully sponsored by AWS, and there were only 12 captains all over the world who were invited to attend AWS reInvent. So if you're not aware of what AWS reInvent it is a global flagship program that happens in AWS yearly in Las Vegas. So that is where they announce about their new technologies, their new services. So that's how it goes. So they reinvent and they highlight on whatever is new in AWS. So I got that opportunity and I was there in front of along with 70,000 people who were there to attend reInvent. So It was so nice being the youngest in most of the places and gaining the insights from all the tech professionals, AWS heroes, AWS community builders, and all tech giants. So that was a surreal experience for me, from hearing the keynotes of Matt Garman, Swamis, and a lot more, to attending sessions and also getting to see all the community managers and being part of the community. So one thing that I'd highlight the most is in the APJ Mixer Party. So that is Asia Pacific Japan community. So in that party we had a small event. So that is the APJ Community Awards. In that I got Cloud Captain of the Year. So across all these regions, I six other captains were nominated along with me, and I got to win that award. So that is like a personal milestone for me, not just going and attending reInvent. Moreover, I received that award. So it was really nice, and I hope that most of you here get to experience something like that, and be a part of community, enjoy what you learn, and make sure that you teach others and you spread that wisdom and knowledge, whatever you've learned, spread it to others. And I believe that will make you a better person in the community as well as for yourself. Thank you, Mayresh, for giving me this opportunity. And I'll share my LinkedIn ID in the chat box. So if you have any doubts regarding community, AWS, or anything, you're free to talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhyana. It was great, having you as a surprise, first of all, and having your insights for our students was really great. And I hope students was have also enjoyed someone from their own country. So yeah, now I would like to invite Manvendra to share his insights, some core tips from his side. So yeah, Manvendra, over to you.
Yeah, am I audible? Am I audible, guys?
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
All right. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, Mayurish. I came in at the last minute. I just wanted to come here and support Mayurish with his initiative. So kudos to him and the whole team for making this possible. And they're the captain who presented before me. It was also lovely to see Diana again. We had a conversation last year. So, all right. I won't take much of your time. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have a lot to do right now. It's 10 o'clock. Uh, I have been part of the Cloud Club initiative for the past 2 years. And over this time, since Diana and Mahesh specifically mentioned the family part, right? Uh, I would like to emphasize on that because in last September, I came to Pune and I didn't know anyone here. And Mayuresh came out of his way to show me around the city. We had a lovely chat. We got to talk a lot. So that's the whole thing of the community, right? You can come to a different state, a different city for the first time in your life, and you can meet someone you already know there. So that's the beauty of it. You should emphasize on that, building relation. And one thing that I have seen and something that I've personally worked on is being empathetic toward others. If you're a captain, if you're in a leading position, always try to have some empathy for your team, for the peers next to you. It always helps. Don't come across as arrogant or something. It's not a good thing since you are the leader, right? So if you become a captain, if you're in a leading position, any program anywhere in the world, always be empathetic. That would be like the main thing to remember. And yeah, again, kudos to everyone, and thank you for this opportunity, Mayuresh. Over to you. Bye.
Thank you, Manvendra. It was like very core tip, as Manvendra explained. Be empathetic, stay on the ground, don't be arrogant to anyone. Yeah, that was the thing we missed, and that should be a good quality of a leader, a good leader. Perfect. Now I would like to hand over and would love to hear insights from Himanshu as well as Rachna ma'am. But before that, I would just want to request you all for one quick group photo. You can just turn on your cameras if you are able to. We will have a quick group photo. Works? All of you, can you please just turn on your camera? Yeah, don't be shy. Just one group photo. Perfect, perfect. Any pose, captains? What you will suggest? The standard C pose?
Whatever you say. What do you want us to do?
Anything? Let's keep it onto you. So you can pose anything. We'll just click. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Srinivas, if you're there, can you just click? Yeah, perfect. So now I would like to just to wrap up the session, just would like to hear the insights and review from Vaishna ma'am as well as Himanshu.
Hello, guys. It was really wonderful sessions, and you all captains are doing very great in with your works. And I am hoping that you will grow together. We will grow together. I'll not take much time. And over to Himanshu, who is whose baby is PICT club. So over to Himanshu. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. First of all, thank to Rachna ma'am only, because she was the main person who helped us start this club. And hello everyone, this is Himanshu. I was the founder of AWS Cloud Club. I was previously an AWS Cloud Captain, and it's so nice to see so many Cloud Captains here. I know a few of them, and then few of them are new here, which I've not talked yet. But yeah, and really kudos to the entire team, not just the AWS Cloud Club PICT, but the other team itself, like other cloud clubs who have been pushing through the AWS initiatives to students, which is a very new thing. Because even when I started, it was very comparatively new for students. On to some people just wouldn't know what AWS is, right? To the fact now it's very accessible to a lot of students, and it's thanks to these cloud clubs. And I thank Mayuresh and the entire team, Cloud Club team, who has been pushing through this. Today's event was also a nice event. Again, for one thing, one advice, how to become a cloud captain on the session onto which it was, which nobody much mentioned, was that just fall in love with AWS. That is your core, core thing you have to do. And when you think about there is a lot of questions coming through that um, you need a specific roadmap onto how you want to go forward with learning AWS and what should I do? How can I get into Amazon? How can I get into AWS? A lot of questions there. How can I become an AWS Cloud Captain? But then the first step is always execute yourself and find out. You just have to, we have this term, right? I can't curse it, but then find out. You know, um, and I would say for that, you have to love AWS itself, or like at least try falling in love with AWS. And that's how we do it is try to execute some projects, try to learn for some certifications, try to go through this, how AWS is used, multiple use cases, and to other organizations. And once you start loving this part, you'd start executing onto creations of some blogs or maybe some use cases in your organizations where you'd be working with AWS. And in the end, you would have a portfolio ready, and then this portfolio itself would reward you onto some levels or like some titles accordingly, and that's how it goes, right? So I hope you guys um, go forward with it. And if you have any questions in your learning journey, in your AWS journey, or any other learning journey, you can always feel free to reach out to me. And over to my Irish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya. And yeah, definitely, as ma'am said, you was the one, and it was very tough time at when you was the captain, you were the captain to grow the club at the initial days. It's just quite tough. So yeah, kudos to you. And also, uh, thank you all the captains again for joining, for supporting, for showing your love. It was great to have you all. All I will just take the names Sujit, Leen, Dhyana, Manvendra. all of you, thank you for your support. And yeah, all other people who have joined, you are the one who are gonna lead the AWS community in the future. So all the best to you first of all, and keep supporting the community, and community will give back to you a lot of things. Definitely, there are a lot of perks. So yeah, and with this session, I would like to just wrap up the things. Thank you so much, and have a good night. Thank you.
I guess Mayuresh,
Yeah.
Anand Mehta sir is there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I can see. Yeah, yeah,
sir, are
sorry,
you
I
there?
missed.
So
Yes, Ashna ma'am,
yeah.
and
Oh,
yes, I'm
nice.
available. Uh,
Oh, I
I'm
would like
Uh,
to
listening
invite sir
this.
on the stage.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
just two
Yes,
minutes
thank
of
you
your
so much,
time.
sir, for joining this, and we are truly happy to see you with this our students and our captains.
Mhm.
Same here, ma'am. Happy to be a part of this conversation, and it's great listening to all the new captains as well as to Himanshu as well, with whom we had been in touch with for quite some time.
Mhm.
And I appreciate this session, Mayuresh. It's very
Thank you, sir.
informative and valuable to all of us as well, including me. Last year, I had been giving a lot of sessions across different cities in India, including Parul University in Gujarat, where I keep coming, where I came across a lot of questions from third year, second year students asking how to become AWS Cloud Captain, and now this session has helped me out in understanding as to what are the prerequisites of becoming an AWS Cloud Captains, what needs to be done, and how to take the journey further. So thank you, Mayuresh and team, for this.
Thank you, sir, for your insights, and thanks for joining, taking your time to join the session and showing your
Yeah.
support to the club. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
just two
Thank you.
minutes for
Yeah.
sir. This Anand Mehta sir was a speaker at a very previous session that we held like almost 8 9 months ago, probably a year ago, into very first sessions where we had more than 500 participants. So the that journey has still continued right now, and Anand sir is currently AWS community builder. If you have any questions on FinOps, he should be the guy you should go to. So this is the power of community. Once you get connected, these people stay connected with you, and these are the right people you have to reach out to, right? That it's always a problem that you don't find the right people to reach out to, and then even if you find, they won't entertain you because they have their own set of works. But then we always have these people connected. I'm so thankful for these guys. Thank you, sir, for joining.
My pleasure, Himanshu. Thank you. Appreciate your
Thank
words.
you. Thank you. Mary on to you.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was the session. Again, just the last vote of thanks. Thank you, all the students who have joined, who have shown the interest and who have till the 10, 12 p.m. till late night. I hope this session would have helped you to know the details behind the AWS, how products are built again, and how to be an AWS captain by yourself. So, uh, after this note, I would like to just end the meet. Thank you for the love.